right, what are we doing, Darren?
Okay, so here's our 3D printing area. We've been doing a little bit of construction, so it's kind of messy. Here's our Neptune 4. We had some issues with it, had something go wrong with the board. Putting the new board in, but then we turned out we had a bad wire, got a new wiring kit. I just hadn't had time to redo it. Here's our Pro and our two Max 3 Neptune 3s. And as you can see, it's kind of tight in here. And our table wiggles, and it ruined a lot
Show
of
them
prints.
the wiggle.
Ruins a lot of prints. So we've been thinking about a way to solve that. So here's the new and improved 3D printing area. Well, they're not going to go anywhere. It's not going to wiggle. It's definitely wide enough and long enough to handle the whole printer, even with the bed moving back and forth. And I think they came out really good. Dad kind of had this idea in his head. And here soon, you'll see all the 3D printers here and hopefully working.
Well, what are you doing in here anyway?
With the magic of editing, this is what it's going to look like. I haven't got the battery backup and all of it wired in yet, but this is what it should look like once we're done. I think that's going to look a lot better. And no wiggle. Well, I don't know how many prints we had fail because of a wiggle. So I might have to kind of watch my cords, make sure they don't touch each other. But beyond that, looks like we have 3 right here with no problem.
Well, what are you doing now?
I've plugged in our battery backup. And now I'm going to figure out a way to get our big extension cord, power plug in the back, plugged into it. And I may drill a little hole in the back to put a hole to do that.
Okay. All right, you're up to something else, I see.
Well, the shelves are already incredible. I love them. But we don't really have a power pole. So I made a little hole in there. I'm going to make it big enough for the end of the plug to go through. And behind all the works, go ahead and do our battery backup. So we don't have so many failed prints to deal with power fluctuations. We have a lot of power fluctuations here.
All right, what did you do? You got the hole too small?
Got one hole. Now I got to put another hole in there because it's not big enough for the blade to fit in. And we're at the shop, so we don't have access to all the drills and stuff. This is the biggest one I found. Now maybe if I looked for another hour, I'd find another one, but. So now, switch batteries. Okay, so it's going to be a little frustrating, but we'll get it done. I'm going to add another pole.
It's a religious table. It's holy.
Very holy now. Ooh, that's pretty bad. Hmm.
All right, it's getting bigger.
The mess or the hole or both? Now I'm just going to make it big enough for it to go in, and hopefully it won't look so bad.
He said he's going to make a square hole, but it kind of looks like parallelogram, I think is the word I'm looking for.
It's perfect for what it'll be. Big enough. It's just that easy.
That's going to hook to that large plug-in right there. That way he'll have plenty of places to plug it in. Then it'll have a power supply down there, so if the voltage, it does in this area, the voltage spikes quite often, so that's got a surge protector in it, and it's got a backup power supply. So we shouldn't run into the problems of what we did in the past as far as the electricity part of it. He's looking on there to see which one is backup and which one is a surge. It has one that's for battery only, and then they have one that is actually just for surge protection. And he's gone to the extreme of reading again.
Don't tell nobody.
That's a hammer. I hope I explained
Well,
that
I was
well.
hoping that electricity works right enough to convince it to.
He gets violent with electricity sometimes, folks.
Me and electricity work out just fine as long as it's listening.
They think it's scared of him, that electricity is. Now, see, it went down in that little neat hole. He's going to put that right back. Those are Elegoo. It's a brand name.
Elegoo Neptune 3s.
3s, and
The last one over there is a 4.
that one is a 4.
Now, we can't give starring recommendations on the 4. We've had a lot of problems with it. I don't know if it's just our model or if that's common.
I think it was because we bought the first model before. I think they had a chance to actually weigh it out and see what was wrong.
And why we say that is we ordered the head of it, and the new head is different than the head we have on it. And we had a glaring issue with its firmware, and it's just been a bit frustrating. The other two work great. The Pro works great. The workhorses, don't have any issue with them.
What else we found with this printer and several other types that we've seen is we use these rubber bands just to hold that up, because occasionally it would sink down and touch the frame and what we were printing. So we use the rubber band right there.
Rubber band solutions.
That is our call. It doesn't look all that pretty, but it does the job.